The Graveborn class is by far the most promising class in the game, and in my opinion probably one of the most broken classes in the game. For what the Graveborn lacked in defense during my playthrough, I kinda concocted a plan and found a way to make sure that the Graveborn excelled in a lot of other areas and still output crazy amounts of damage. But in today's video, we will be focusing on what I like to call the companion build of a Graveborn, but with a little bit of help. Welcome to Kata King, everybody. It's your host KSDTV here, and if you're new here, we cover news, guides, and gameplays for all RPGs on PC and mobile devices. To really kick off things, everything about the Graveborn companion build, I'll be breaking this video up in 4 different acts to make sure I explain my entire thought process as I was leveling and to make it more easier for the community and for you guys to be able to follow along and during my entire level 1 all the way into beating the game and defeating the Dragon Lord, and of course into in-game territory running chamber runs. Act 1. The goals of this guy to achieve the companion build, or what exactly are the stakes of this build. The current stakes of the build is to achieve enough pets to leech health off of enemies and then output insane damage. That's been my entire goal, while at the same time trying to stay alive. As I noted, my build, my survivability wasn't the greatest, so I needed to concoct something that I made sure I stayed alive by choosing a specific set of skills and attributes, which I'll be getting on through later. In order to set this build up is technically at the beginning of the game. During the create your character phase of the game, I noticed the Graveborn focus more on dark magic and leeching health more on the vampiric side of things, so we will be focusing on making sure our stats are more tailored to creating a lot of status effects, elemental damaging, and as well as increasing our spell cast speed. Once we start leveling up, a lot of our points for skills will go to increasing the amount of companions we will have, which I'll be having the skill tree on the top of gameplay right now, and more that are on the field means more damage we can output thanks to our Graveborn skill set, and more of the damage we can output for our hero, while also using elemental based weapons to be able to really utilize the elements and deal even more damage and push out even more crits. And certain weapons actually gave me the more crits I do, the more damage my companions do. So there's a lot of working around and trying to build up this godly tier character with my companions. So jumping more over onto our act 2 of this video, we'll be talking about the fundamental decisions and choices you will need to make, like the specific classes and of course the weapons and such. To make this class truly flourish and excel, you must unlock the Spore Warden class. Upgrade the Hydra Commanders tiers all the way until you max them out, and of course, once you do unlock the Spore Warden, please unlock the Spore Shroom guy, which is by far the cutest little guy I've ever seen. Just watching him run around is very cute. And of course, throughout the entire Spore Warden skill tree, I want you guys to actually increase that Spore Warden, unlocking all of his stats, everything you can to make sure that the Spore Warden is powerful, even unlocking the save your life thing that he does of like when you get downed, he can actually come res you. Literally or not, I'm more like a glass cannon type build. I can outdeal a lot of damage, but once I get smacked like 1 or 2 good times, I'm out for the count. So to achieve what I wanted from my ultimate build to be, I decided to choose the backstory, the Rogue Alchemist, which gives your character the Savvy archetype. And by focusing on the stats of attunement, so I can cast my main skill ability, Reaper of Bones, which plays a major role in this entire build. Remember how I said I was a glass cannon? Well, thanks to the Reaper of Bones, I can actually, it's like my get out of jail free card. It instantly refills my health back up to max, and I'm pretty much is unkillable, and if I'm about to die, I gain an invulnerability status, and then it goes away. But at the same time of that happening, I am regaining health from the ultimate leeching that I am doing from all of my abilities, plus the companions, plus the Reaper of Bone. I also upgraded my abilities, well, my hero points into intelligence and wisdom attributes, so I can constantly be able to fire off spells and deal insane amounts of spell damage at any given time through spells or any elemental damage output. Thanks to picking the Rogue Alchemist, I get a head start on my wisdom at 18 hero points at the start of the game, which is insane crazy for this build and actually what skyrocketed me through the beginning parts of the main story of the game. To fully complete this build, like I said earlier, you must choose the Spore Warden class. Once you elect the main ability to have a second class, or what the game class includes, you must choose the Spore Warden, you must choose the Mushroom Companion, as long as well with the Demi-Lich Companion and the 3 Hydras that can spawn, dealing extra damage. And the more minions that are on the field, the more damage the player can do. Thanks to with all the skill tree that I have in the top right hand corner, you guys can see how I kind of like started stacking my way on both sides of the spectrum. Thanks to being in the game, you can always respec your character, so hopefully it gives you a nice, good, clean look at how I actually spec'd out the character. Now, to give the forewarning or the disclaimer to everybody, I did beat the game at level 27, and I am not at mythical ranking of level 40. I beat the game at level 27, so I am running through in-game missions, running back through my quests, and still gaining certain things. So most of this in-game talk is mainly me running through chamber runs, and the multiple of chamber runs actually, and doing a couple other side quests so that they can actually be more level to me. I have been playing the game off camera, so I'm currently level 29 at the point of this recording. Now, the main weapons of choices that I did during my gameplay was choosing fire, thunder, and ice, and as my 4th weapon to make it a leech weapon that you will find some out throughout the game, is to still output damage, but at the same time, at every single tick of damage that I do, that's the more health I get back. And of course, if your skills and attributes are allocated correctly, then you will be able to literally every tick of damage, you'll get X amount of health. So moving on to Act 3 of this video, we're going to be building the entire identity of the Graveborn Spore Warden class, which it will be just the choices you will need to make versus the choices you will want to make, which this can be a little bit flexible. Like I said, I'm kind of running through and seeing what could work and what didn't work. So like I said, in your guys' run, remember, this is still a Borderlands based game, so all the loot are RNG based, so I didn't get access to a lot of guns that can, every time I reload, there becomes a companion, like I've seen some other people on YouTube play, having specific spells that'll actually allow me to conjure companions. I didn't get that lucky, so I had to actually work with what I had, which, like I said, would be the 3 Hydras, the Shroom Companion, and as well as the Demi-Lich Companion that you get out of rip. And I had to do what I could do with them guys at the same time of still working with what I got. Now, I do want to talk about the exact peak of performance running you through towards endgame. After defeating the Dragon Lord, allows you to have a lot of minions on the field that can constantly give you health and has an insane damage output. Now, sadly, like I said, the RNG wasn't the greatest, and I couldn't benefit from a lot of those extra stuff that you could get, that most people, if you probably comment down below, you probably have already seen them before if you are running the Graveborn class. I didn't get that lucky. But during your playthrough, you would need to focus on building the identity of your Graveborn, since buying weapons or spells from shops will only scale to your level, and once you level up a lot, it will actually become quite useless, which anybody who is a Borderlands fan will know. Buying anything out of the shop or the little vending machines, it could be kind of useless, because once you grab it and you start leveling up, that weapon or item will become pretty much useless, and you would eventually get a better, stronger weapon by beating a hard boss or doing an insane quest or side quest that offers a lot more for you. But while we are on the topic, I do want to talk about all of the skills that I actually obtained throughout my entire playthrough. So of course, my action skill is Reaper of Bones. I maxed out Faithful Thralls, maxed out Kindred Hearts for Spore Warden. I went back, put a couple points in Mortal Vessel. I maxed out the Harvest skill, Spore Cloud. I also maxed out Dark Hydra, put a couple points in a Dart Pack, put a couple points in a Punishment, did Medical Mushroom, which basically is a free res if you get downed by your mushroom. Hopefully he isn't dead. I've had many times where he kind of got killed, and I had to fight for my life at that point. And last but not least, I also maxed out Bullseye. And all of these things you can do by the time of you hitting level 27. Of course, that's doing side quests, and I did beat the game at level 27 when I was supposed to beat at level 30, but I rolled with the punches with the Dragon Lord and still won. But by that time, you should have literally this exact same build and all of your points allocated to these guys, which you would still, from the gameplay you're seeing, still be able to pump out a lot of Hydras, get a lot of health back, using Reaper of Bones as a last-ditch effort, using your spells and your weapons interchangeably so you can still output a lot of damage at a consistent rate, like really increasing your DPS, and it's insane. I had a lot of fun playing with this, a lot of dipping and dodging, sliding. I loved it. Throwing spells here or there, and then just always upgrading. I will still be playing off camera, so I can't wait to see how my Graveborn or how about this, a new name for it, the Graveborn, and see how well they become out in mythical rank 40. So we're in the final act of this video. This will be my final thoughts. So the moral of the story is the Companions is the Graveborn's best friend and could literally carry the Graveborn throughout endgame. For what my Graveborn lacked in defense, can make up in leeching off health from enemies and using the mains to aid you in battle. And the Hydras are able to help you by leeching off the enemies as well, just by constantly giving out attacks. And sometimes they even get a one shot in there, and it makes your life 10 times easier. Now, I do want to ask you guys this question. Was this class helpful, or give you at least a general idea of where you want to take this class and skyrocket it on to something else? Would you be able to put this and put you in the right direction that it will make Tiny Tina proud and make you feel like you're a badass? If you already been playing Wonderlands, please tell me what's your favorite class so far in the comment section below. I would love to hear what you guys see, what kind of builds you guys came up with. And as always, it's been your host, Chaos DTV, here at Chaotic Inc., signing out. Peace.
Manifest. I don't sleep, that's so weak, don't plan to rest. I'm from a hood where you die if you don't pack a vest. No culinary degrees, but whipping crack the best. Chefing, hard times taught lessons. Praying every night to pull up in park Benzes. What's my home is what you call trenches. You wouldn't last a day seeing life through all lenses. It's all tension, no sun, and rain and plenty. Full-time job, still can never make a penny. I ain't